Hello everyone. In today's video, we will exploring one of the most aggressive chess opening, the fright lever attack. This opening will help you to launch a devastating attack against your opponent and you can win your game within a few moves. Let's get started. The fright lever attack starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, knight to g5. Now this f7 square is under attack and it will come with a huge fork. The only good way black can protect their f7 square, push their pawn to d5. Now this pawn blocking this bishop diagonal. Now we capture this pawn, black also capture our pawn. Now our g5 knight is hanging, but here we plan for a sacrifice. Yes, you have to capture this pawn and sacrifice your knight for a pawn. Now it will come with a fork, so black have to capture this knight, otherwise they lose a huge material. So after king capture knight, go for a queen to f3 check. Now this will come with a fork and this knight is pinned. Here a lot of player thinks they can move back their king to g8 and they think this is a safe square for this king. But after this move, you can capture this knight with a check. Even you can sacrifice your queen also. First go for this knight and after queen capture queen, you can capture this queen with a check. Only move bishop comes to e6, then capture this bishop also. Now there is no move for this king and this is move number 10 and you already checkmated your opponent. So after queen to f3, this king cannot move to g8 square, king have to move e6 and protect this knight. So king to e6, now this knight is protected and we have to introduce another attacker by playing knight to c3. Now there is two ways for black to continue this game, knight to e7 or knight to b4. First we will see what if black play knight to e7. Now just push your pawn to d4. If black capture your pawn and attack this knight, don't worry about this knight, just play bishop to f4 move. This knight cannot capture your bishop because this is pin and you just sacrifice your knight. So black thinks this is a free knight and goes for this knight. Then you have to just go for a castle. Now black can capture your another free pawn. Then you have to play king to b1. Now this king is totally safe and this pawn act like as a shield. Now black can try pawn push on c6, protecting their d5 knight and you have to play rook to e1 check. Now there is 4 available square for this king and if king goes this way then we can play this move attacking this queen and also this is a check. So we can win this queen. So this is easy win for us. Hereafter rook to e1 check, there is another option. King can goes to d7. Now you can sacrifice your rook with a check. If knight capture your rook, then you have to play queen to g4 check or queen to h3 check. Both of them is checkmate. There is no move for this king and black can also block the check. And here if black thinks they can capture by their pawn, again we can play bishop to b5 check. Again there is no move for this king, they have to block the check. Then we can capture this pawn with a check and black can try bishop to d6. Then we can capture this bishop with a check. Again this is a checkmate. Another option after d4, black can ignore our pawn and they can try pawn to c6, protecting their d5 knight. Then we can capture this pawn. Now black can push their pawn on b5, attacking this bishop and try to trap our bishop. Just back our bishop to b3. Again black can push their pawn on a5. Now we have to play a killer move, bishop to g5, pinning this knight. And here if black push their pawn to a4, then just capture this knight. After black recapture, just go for a castle. Now this is a pin and here black can try to protect this pawn by playing bishop to b7. Now this b5 pawn is available for capture. We will go for this pawn. Now black can push their pawn to a6 and attacking this bishop. Don't think about your bishop, just play rook to d3 and sacrifice your bishop. If black capture our bishop, then you can play queen to g4 check. Now there is one option for this king. King to f7. Now we will play rook to f3 check. Now there is three options. First we will see what if king goes to e8. Now we will play knight to d6 check. Now there is no move for this king, so they have to sacrifice their queen, and this will be easy win for us. Another option after rook to f3 check, king to g8, then we will play queen to e6 check. Now king a7 and rook h3 check. This is again checkmate. The last option after rook to h3, king to g6, then queen to e6 check. Now there is two options for this king. King to h5 or h7. Any of this move, then we will play rook to h3 check, and there is no move for this king. Everything is taken, every square is taken. So again this is checkmate. So after knight to c3, knight to e7 is not working for black. Now before jump into another variation, I announce that in my next video I will cover black side best response, which is called Texler counter attack, which will help you when someone play fried liver against you. Now takes a look what if black play knight to b4. Now our c2 pawn is hanging. It's also come with a check. So first save your king, go for a castle. Now if black capture your pawn on c2 and attacking this rook, just sacrifice your rook and push your pawn to d4. And here if black become greedy and capture your rook, he is gone. Now you have to capture this knight with a check. Now black king have to move. Then we can play knight to b5 check. Now there is only two options. If they try this, then queen to f5 check. Now again any move, then we can play queen to f7 check, and this is mate. Another option after castle, black can try to push their pawn. Now again you have to push your pawn on d4. Now black can capture this pawn on c2, again make an attack to a rook. But now again you have to capture this pawn, and if black capture your rook, then first capture this knight. After black recapture, just bring out your rook to d1. Now this pawn is pinned and there is no move for black. If they try this kind of move, just capture this pawn. Now black cannot save this position. If they try any move, just go for the check. Now this is a double check, so black king have to move. Only available is square. King capture this pawn. Now we can play king to d5 check. Again this is a checkmate. The last option after d4, black can capture your pawn. Then we can play e1 check. Now if king goes to d7, now first capture this knight. After black recapture, again you can capture. After pawn capture knight, we can go for this pawn, and this is a check. So black have to move their king. Now we can play bishop to f4 check. If your black try to block the check, then again you can play queen to c5 check, and black king have to move this way. Then again we can capture this bishop with a check, and this is a checkmate. Another option after rook to e1 check, if king moves to d6 square, then go for a queen to g3 check. King goes to d7. Now first capture this knight. After recapture, go for a killer move, bishop to g5, attacking this queen. If black try to block this, then even sacrifice your rook. After knight capture this rook, you have to play another rook to e1. Again this is a pin. If black try to save this way, then you can play bishop to e6 check, and this is a mate. Another variation after queen to g3 check, king can move to c5. Now first push your pawn on a3, make an attack to this knight. If knight capture this c2 pawn with the attack to a rook, now knight a4 check and sacrifice this bishop. After king capture this bishop, b3 check, king goes to b5, now queen d3 check. After king move, we can play bishop d2 check. Obviously you can block the check, but after we capture, black cannot survive for a long. So this is again completely winning for us. So these were some key variation in flight lever attack. Hope it will works for you. Thank you for watching.